the super fans. Come on, are you guys super? Dennis? All right. Are you guys excited about this part? This is literally when I tell you what is next. Okay? So, listen up. Get out your phones. So, you know, a funny thing that always happens to us? These darn hurricanes. You know, we put this umbrella over the headquarters a few years ago, and we're like, wow, it's so crazy that a hurricane could hit us. And then it did it again, and then we were in Macau, and it did it again. They call it a typhoon. It's the same thing. It just goes the other direction. And then this one. And so somebody said to me, they were like, wow, bad luck. I go, oh, no. It's not bad luck. It shows that we, Jeunesse, do you think we're afraid of a challenge? Okay, we were a little bit afraid on the first one. But we've done this a lot. We know how to rise up. We see a hurricane coming. We're like, yeah, I've seen that. Done that like 4 times. We are not afraid of a challenge. And do we have challenges in our lives and with the company? For sure. But we always rise up. We always get over it. We never worry. But you know, now, on a funny note, I was thinking we always look for the names. Remember when Scott said, you know, we have these names for Expo? I was thinking we should just go with, you know, the name of the hurricane. The logo could be, you know, some kind of swirly. Just go with it, you know. If you can't beat them, join them. This could be the swag. Just in case you get wet. Okay, but there was one tragedy here in Orlando, and it was that Starbucks was closed for 3 days. 3 days. All right, but really, for real, when you think about all of the things that are happening on the planet, do you believe that there's change happening in the world? I mean, even if you don't believe it, just try to notice, because things are changing. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about me. Do you know where I grew up? Oh, I grew up in Utah as a kid, and I worked on a farm, okay, for many, many years. You should see me in overalls. So I worked on a big farm just like this. It was just like this. Now, it was a produce farm, so we had all kinds of, we had corn, we had beets, we had squash, we had cucumbers, peas, beans, fruits. Well, one thing we did to make sure that we always had healthy crops was that we rotated the crops. So when we grew the crops in a field like this, if it was beets, the next year it might be corn, and the next year it might be squash. Now, why do we do that? Because we want to keep the nutrients in the earth in just the right balance. If you grow the same things over and over and over, it depletes the earth of some of the nutrients that it needs to make the food actually healthy. So look, this is the reality of today's mass farms. Okay, I was on a small farm. This is what we see today. But can you rotate crops? They do not rotate the crops. In fact, in California, I used to live in California, they will sometimes have 2 growing seasons. They'll grow the same thing twice in a year. And what's that doing? It's depleting the nutrients from the soil. So let me give you a couple of interesting things to think about. Food for thought. Imagine if the good fruits and vegetables, the things that you know are good for you, you know, you go to Whole Foods. I call it whole paycheck. You go to Whole Foods, and if you could read the nutrition facts panel on the back, you know, and you know, oh, good, this is what, I can tell how good it is for me. But one thing you might not know is this. Broccoli, which is arguably one of the best vegetables on the planet for you in health. Check out the nutritional facts panel that would be on broccoli in 1950 versus 2018. First of all, notice calories. Even the calories went up. Do you know why? Because the fat content went up. And that fat content always increases calories. Look at the vitamin A. From 389% down to 69% of what you need in a day. Vitamin C, calcium, iron. Look, it's just unbelievable what's happening to our food. So the soil is obviously losing the nutrients, right? That creates the food that we put into our bodies. And if we're not getting all the nutrients, it becomes a problem. The other thing we have to think about is this, water. So when I was a kid, again, I lived in a pretty pristine place. We used to be able to drink water from there was a spring nearby. It was called Rick Springs. And we would fill up jugs. You could drink right from the earth. Can you imagine how good the water is straight from the earth? The minerals, the way it tastes, it was freezing cold, so good. But today, this is what it said. This is the spring. This is actually where we used to get it. If you look, you can kind of see the sign there. That sign says today, like most water in the western United States, Rick Springs carries Giardia, yum, a microorganism that causes severe intestinal discomfort. So guess how many people drank from that spring today? 0 people. This is a problem throughout. It's just like it says, throughout the western United States. So what do we do with our water? So we basically drink blank water today, right? Because they have to take everything out of it. It's just wet. All the goodness that used to be in water is gone. It's just wet. Granted, we need that, right? So when you think about these issues, what do you think it's doing to our bodies when we're not getting those nutrients from the earth? We're not getting those things from the water. It's got to be affecting the way that we feel and the way that we live. We want to live well. So Jeunesse, I'm telling you, when they're coming up with ideas, this one was a surprise to me. It was a surprise in the way it looked. It was a surprise in the way it made me feel. It was a surprise on what it actually delivers on. So we have a solution. It's an interesting solution, and it can also not only be a good solution for your body and for your health, but for your mind and for your business. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up and get ready to see the newest product from Jeunesse. The name of the product is Max 2.0. What do you think? This product is called Max 2.0. Max 2.0. Does it look good? Well, let me tell you about this. Now, you spell it just like you see there, MX2O, okay? But you say it Max 2.0. It's so great looking, right? I want to point it out because, look, the attraction to a product does help. Imagine when you're drinking this and someone's coming there, see you drinking it, they're going to want to know what you're drinking. So let me tell you about it, okay? The tagline is living life to the max. That's what we're trying to do here, right? That could easily be our tagline at Jeunesse. We want to live life to the max. And if you want to live life to the max, you want to get the maximum out of your water, this is where you're going to get it. It's let me tell you what's in it. It's fulvic and humic acid. So what is fulvic and humic acid? That brings over 70 plus trace minerals into your body that we're missing. And we get those minerals from deep in the earth, way below actually where people farm. We have to mine to get these minerals into the water. And the fulvic and humic acid is what turns it black. Okay, so then you're like, black, water, what does it taste like, you know? I can tell you you'll be pleased to know it tastes a lot like water. It tastes a lot like water. And that's the luck. Now, I do want to say that when you get into the water, you're going to actually find some of these trace minerals inside the water. Okay, so when you think, oh no, I can see something, yeah, be glad, okay? Because when you're drinking your blank water, there's nothing there, okay? 70 plus trace minerals. Now, this is not really classified as a water, though. It's actually a nutritional supplement. So let's see if we can see the back. See that? There's the bottle. Notice it says supplement facts. This is a nutritional supplement. It's registered as a supplement. So the way to think about it is that as well. That yes, it's your water, but it's also a supplement. And I think that that's a key selling point with this particular product. Okay, next slide. It also contains organic beetroot powder. Now this reminds me, when Scott first tasted, when he got the first batch, he actually called me back into his office and he's like, Mark, I can feel this. I feel it. And you know, that's the best thing that can happen too, is when you start to actually feel a difference, it's so much easier. When you're sampling this, giving it to people, and you can feel it, and I'm telling you, over time, imagine if for all these years we're depleting ourselves, if we add these things back into our bodies, the way we feel is going to be incredible. Bottled benefits. These are the things to look for. It's hydration, of course, but our water first goes through a 5X process, okay? It's a purification process that goes through 5 different processes to make it the most ultra-pure, clean water before we even begin. Now, you've heard of alkaline water. You've heard of alkaline water? This is also alkaline water. Okay? Now, why do we need alkaline? Why would we want to balance the pH in our bodies? Well, if you drink, just think about this for a minute. If you drink coffee, maybe. If you drink soda, once in a while. If you drink anything at the bar, just saying. There's a lot of things that we put into our body that can take us off balance when it comes to the pH in our bodies. So balancing that pH actually keeps your energy high, keeps your energy levels where they're supposed to be. And notice under provides 70 plus trace minerals straight from Mother Earth, deep down. Like I said, we actually mine these minerals from deep in the earth. And then the organic fulvic acid also adds a boost of energy. This product not only delivers on what's in it, but it's also the way it looks. I gotta say, the team really steps it up. We're always trying to outdo ourselves, but I gotta say, we got the designers in here. I gotta say big congratulations, because this looks hot, right? So this makes it easy for you. We're gonna provide you with all the materials you need, everything you would want to help people see it on your social media. If you want to, obviously it's gonna be on our website. It's in our new magazine, We Live Jeunesse magazine. We've got a scientific sheet in there that helps talk about what it does. All you have to do is be able to read, and you can talk about this product and drink if you can do those two things. It's a really, really awesome looking brand. So now, do you love it? How many of you are excited about Max 2.0? I think Scott, Wendy, and Randy are right behind here. They want to hear how excited you are to be able to have this in your life and in your business. Please let them know. Please let them know. Okay, now, I always think of myself as somewhat smart, but this guy, Dr. Vincent Giampapa, he's the man, the myth, and the legend. You just heard from him. He's an amazing member of the Jeunesse Scientific Advisory Board. When he wait till you get to hear what he says. He's just an amazing person. I love working with him. Please stand and welcome to the stage, Dr. Vincent Giampapa.
Hello. Well, I'm just super excited to help make this a major launch for this new product, because without a question, this is something that fits right into the YES system, and I think it's something we've really needed. But before we get into that, let me make sure this works, okay? And let's talk about the science of living and the science of water, okay? I'm sure most of you know our bodies, our biological machines, are 70% water. It's a lot of water. How many people know you can't go more than about a week and a half or 2 weeks max before you die if you don't have water? Water is life, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We have 100 trillion cells in our body. Each one of those cells is 90% water. And if we don't have the right amount of water, the right type of water within those cells, that cellular water, none of the reactions that we need to have happen, to have those cells work perfectly, to have our genetic software, our DNA work optimally, it doesn't happen, okay? It may work at a small percentage of what it could. You may never really experience your full potential because the water inside those cells is not life. It's not life water. How many people have had a battery where you change your battery? You understand that when you open the tops of those little containers where the water has to be poured into your battery, if there's not water, there is no power. You understand that water is essential for the cell to make power. So what we're talking about is so important, is having the right types of water within our body. So when we look at this new product, which again, I think they've done a phenomenal job with presenting this product, what are we looking at? Well, let's take a look at this. Black is the clear choice. I agree, and I'm going to show you something. How many people drink 8 of these bottles a day? Because you're supposed to be drinking 8 10-ounce bottles of water a day. And I'm willing to bet virtually nobody does. But more importantly, see how nice and clear this looks? Guess what? This is not life water. This is death water. Because it's not giving you what you need. And we're going to talk about what you need, okay? So when you pour the water from your tap, it's clear. When you go to the bottled water stores, you get clear water. You're really getting very, very little of what your body needs. When we look at the YES system, you'll see we have our products in different categories, but what are the 3 fundamental principles for the YES system is when we look at a product that we introduce to the YES system, we design for the YES system, what are we looking at? Number 1, that product has to work from the inside out and the outside in. Number two, the product has to be experiential. You have to either see or feel the difference. And number three, when you use that product with one of the other Jeunesse system products, there's a synergy. The products we design work together. Now, this is what makes Jeunesse unique and is really one of the focuses of when we create new products to make sure they fit into this Yes system and you benefit from that. Okay. So if you take a look at water in general, the water you get from your tap, the water in this clear water in this bottle behind me, it's called smart water. It really should be called dumb water because there's really nothing in there that makes a big difference. But when we look at water, water should hydrate your cells, should hydrate your body. Water should help balance the acidity in your body. And every one of you in this room is acidic. There's not one person here, I'm willing to bet $100 that's not acidic. That's because today's diet, lack of exercise, and all the things we do create an abundance of acidity, which again turns down the efficiency of every one of those cells in our body. Very few of us get all the trace minerals and elements we need because those trace minerals and elements are what are required by the cell. Now, every second, every one of the cells of your body have to perform thousands of reactions, thousands every second. If they don't have the right fuel, the right amount of energy, the right pH, or the right hydration, they don't do that efficiently. Okay? Lastly, we talked about energy. And without the right amount of, again, hydration, pH, the little organelles inside each one of our cells, the batteries of our cells, called mitochondria, won't create the energy to drive the nucleus or to keep your genetic software running optimally. So these are the ideal things that the water you drink should have. Okay? So when we take a look at, let's take a look at each one of these. We take a look at pH. So pH really is referring to the acidity in your body. The human body was designed fractionally millions of years ago. We evolved on a diet that had more alkaline components to it. Today, orange juice, coffee, cola, beer, alcohol. You heard Mark talk about all the things we commonly eat, especially fried foods, make us very acidic. On the other hand, if we're doing certain things, really trying to compensate with severe vegan diets and other things, we become way too alkaline. So the secret is staying in that 7.2 to 7.4 ideal range of acidity. And it's very hard to do that because different foods create different levels of acidity in our body. But we can approach this through a whole different level of, that is, drinking the right amount and the type of water. Okay. So Max 2.0, we're talking about the black color, okay? So this is life water, not the clear stuff we see in the store or comes from your faucets. Now, within this bottle are the basic elements that we need to accomplish everything to keep each one of those 100 trillion cells working optimally. So what are the key features? Okay, in each one of those bottles, you're going to see what looks like a dark brown color, okay? Now that color is from the fulvic and humic acid that is actually was produced millions of years ago from ancient seabeds, which have been buried in the ground, and over the eons, that organic material has kind of just turned into dust, and what you're seeing is exactly that. And that's what gives this product that color and that kind of taste that you're going to find, which is kind of clear, natural taste, but it's a distinctive little taste. Organic beetroot powder has been used for years for an interesting effect. When you take organic beetroot powder, it creates what we call nitric oxide. And that's a compound that causes all your blood vessels, the tiny blood vessels in your body, to dilate. What does that mean? That whatever's in the water you're drinking, or at the same time you're taking this beetroot powder, more of those compounds get into the tiny little accesses and recesses of your cells, so more minerals, vitamins can be delivered, but at the same time, and just as important, more of the toxic elements that accumulate inside the cell can be removed. So from a detox point of view, increasing blood flow to all the areas of your body that don't normally get it is a major, major health benefit. Alkaline pH, 8.5. Now, this is much higher than you want to be, but on the other hand, in order to buffer the pH that we're all sitting here right now in the room with, you need to really start taking some alkaline products in order to shift that acid level inside your body more towards that neutral ideal range. The water's purified 5 different ways. We won't get into each one of them, but yes, there's things that kill bacteria. There's ultraviolet radiation. There's reverse ultraviolet wave frequencies. There is reverse osmosis. There is different steps in purifying the water through special filters. So you're getting not just purified water that you get from other companies, but you're getting something that's unique. A recycled bottle. Well, I think this just says a lot about what Genesis focus on our environment and our future health and generations' future health. So the key features in this product meet all the ideal requirements to keep each one of those 100 trillion cells, our DNA, and our bodies in general working optimally. So what are some of the unique properties of this humic acid and fulvic acid is the way that these molecules are structured allow them to hold significant amounts of minerals, trace minerals, and get them to the rest of the body, much more so than they would if they were just in a suspension of regular water. So this is really important. And by the way, trace minerals. Okay, so trace minerals are very interesting. Now, when we talk about, for instance, specific types of minerals, okay, there's basic minerals, there's trace minerals, or for instance, in AM/PM and reserve, we have specific types of what we call macronutrients. We have potassium, sodium, we have phosphorus. These are things that our bodies need for muscle contractions, for nerve synapses, for memory. But the trace minerals or micronutrients are the things we need to run those minute little reactions that are inside each one of our cells. So without getting a good balance of the trace minerals, it's great to have the macronutrients or the macrominerals, but you really need a combination of both. And the best way to deliver these to the body is in a liquid form that has an ideal pH. Okay. So you're looking at all of these trace minerals. Now, keep in mind, what you're seeing up here were created millions of years ago in an environment that was much more pristine than today's 21st century environment. You're looking at compounds that were ideally suited for human beings. And you're looking at compounds that are hard to get today without being contaminated by artificial preservatives and all the other things that we've evolved with, fertilizers, things that are not good for our health. You're looking at things that are pristine. Okay, so if we take a look also, what's happened to our food quality over the years, what you're going to see is these macronutrients, sodium, potassium, magnesium, things we need to generally function, our muscles, our brain, our hormones. From 1940, okay, to 1991, you'll notice that as what's happened is there's a dramatic drop in the quantity and the quality of these compounds. And that's because we've farmed out large portions of our earth and the ground that we use for farming in general. We've also used artificial compounds within that area that we grow our vegetables today in. So this is an opportunity to get what nature intended us to run on, our biology, our biological machines, to run on the ideal amount of trace minerals and the type of trace minerals. Beetroot extract, beetroot powder. As I said, this is an amazing compound. And I actually bought this a number of years ago, and I wanted to see if beetroot extract really made a difference. So I got a little nitric oxide strip and took the recommended amount, and about 20 minutes, half hour later, I measured. There was a dramatic difference in my nitric oxide level. Okay. So I gave this to one of my friends, and I said, he's a bodybuilder, so that would help more protein get to his muscles, and I said, take this before you work out because this is one of the ways to get more protein and minerals to your muscles. So about a week passes, I go, what did you think? How did you feel? He goes, I felt great, but it had a little funny side effect. I said, like what? He said, well, it's the same side effect as Viagra. So I said, I guess that's good, but cut down on what you're taking, please. So you don't have to worry about that because the amount of beetroot extract in this product is nowhere near anything you're going to have to worry about. I'm sorry, guys. But again, the secret to this is dilating the tiny little blood vessels that as we get older get smaller, smaller, and smaller, okay? And this really helps open up the blood flow and help remove the toxins within our cells. Again, really, really important, especially as we get older. So if you want to live life to your max, you want the maximum quality of water you can possibly get. And I can't say any more positive things about this product because I think for the first time we have the opportunity to use a product that can enhance all the other Jeunesse Yes product line, to make those products work in synergy with this product, and in summary, really experience a new level of health and a tremendous, tremendous addition to our Yes system. Thank you all very much.